So, Mark, did you see the Lovers and Friends Festival in Vegas this last weekend? Now, there was a little bit of craziness. They thought there was a security incident. Some people ran away. I think some people got hurt. But just, did you see the picture of the crowds? I don't know that I've ever seen an event in Las Vegas with such dense crowds. It was sort of crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like a EDC name or lovers and drugs and
Yeah, something like that.
but yeah, the crowds were nuts. I mean, I've never been a big festival person just because, when you're in a group that big and, people get trampled all the time. We've seen that quite a few times over the last year or two. It just seems like not my type of thing, but that was insane and it's like my worst nightmare all coming together. Like when you're body to body like this in an open space, it just feels not like a great moment. Plus, you could see how far back they were. Like you couldn't even see the stage. I wouldn't think that well. So it was just insane. And the prices, man. I don't know what. I guess people have money to blow.
You don't like $18 hot dogs? I mean, what was with those prices? $10 lemonades. And it's just funny, like everything was the same price, $18 for any food item. They were certainly making tons of money there.
Yeah, I get like, alcoholic drinks, whatever. You expect that festivals, Vegas, period, sporting events. But $18, I mean, I've never seen a hot dog over like $6 or $7 at any big event. That's just insanity. And I hope people like they burned a whole bunch because nobody would buy them. Like they just ate all that product or something or gave them away at the end. We don't want to throw away food, but it just, who's paying $18, man? That's just a nuts. It better be like a foot long.
Yeah, no, it was a mini one. But just think, even if they threw away like 9 out of every 10, they'd still make a profit. All right, so let's get into the show. I'm here in Stockholm, Sweden, on the Voyager of the Seas. We're parked, so I got some great internet from my cell phone, so it's working pretty good here. And you can see I'm in a suite, which is really cool. I've talked about that on the MTM podcast. We have our regular Miles Travel Points podcast. I did a whole episode on cruise hacking a couple weeks ago. If people want to talk about that, we'll talk about cruise ship casinos a little bit later in this show as well. But how are things going out there?
Not too bad. We had like 90 degrees this past weekend, so everybody was like melting, and we went from 50 to 90 as it is in Michigan. So there's no spring really. We just went straight to summer.
Well, we'll talk about summer too in Vegas a little later because apparently Vegas has gotten hotter and hotter, like 6 degrees hotter over the last few decades, which is insane. But let's start with Cosmo. MGM has, as of the time this episode has come out, MGM has officially taken over Cosmo. The old Cosmo is dead. The new Lion-led Cosmo is here. Are you sad? You a little worried?
Yeah, big time worried. You're pretty much soon gonna poop on your toilets and everything else at the Cosmo. So,
Oh God.
yeah, I mean, you're just worried about because the maintenance and the cleaning and stuff. You haven't really heard an issue of that at Cosmo, and now with MGM, you've heard about that at pretty much all, MGM properties. And even, earlier this week we had a video about Bellagio, and my room in Bellagio was not in great shape and stuff. So you just worry, like, I'm sure it'll be fine for a year or two, but as that maintenance builds up and, they have issues with cleaning and stuff, I think it will deteriorate over the next couple years, sadly. That's my guess, at least.
Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of time. So hopefully we still have a little bit of time where the old Cosmo shines through. Most employees are being allowed to stay, and then they're able to transfer to other MGM properties eventually. So that's good for employees, but it's going to take up to a year for MGM to fully integrate Cosmopolitan into their sort of structure. Identity Rewards is going to stick around for now. Probably as soon as they get everything integrated, that will go away for MGM Rewards. The sports book, I think within 90 days, they're going to take it over, change it into Bet MGM, and then a year to sort of feel it out, but I'm sure by the end it's going to be a fully integrated MGM property. Although one thing is going to remain different, at least for now. They announced that the Marriott partnership is in place, probably because there's a contract or something, but no Hyatt partnership, at least in the beginning, for Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that, and people are wondering, are they trying it out to see if they're going to switch all the properties to Marriott from Hyatt and all that? I mean, it's not a big deal to a lot of people unless you're a big Hyatt fan. You're missing out on being able to redeem points there and earn points there. For most people, they probably don't care. Most gamblers probably don't care. And there's a lot more Marriott people than there are Hyatt people. So I'm sure there's quite a few people that are excited about this, that they keep earning their Marriott stuff. Now, I do wonder, Cosmo was always pretty good at, showing Marriott status holders some love. MGM has not done that so much with Hyatt. So I wonder if that will slip, where Marriott people will show up and they'll be like, oh, we're not honoring status anymore or anything like that, and treat it the way they treat Hyatt. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. That would be my guess, but we won't know until we see how it plays out.
Yeah, we don't know what the details of the contract are and, what it would cost MGM to buy out Marriott. So hopefully, everything is sort of guaranteed and it'll stay there. But I would fully expect that as Cosmo gets integrated, as these contracts run out, that it'll be eventually aligned with the rest of the MGM properties. Hyatt's been a longtime partner there, so I wouldn't be surprised down the line if we see Cosmo become part of that Hyatt partnership. But for now, if you like Marriott, if you like getting Bonvoyed, then you're in luck because Cosmo stays there.
I know, like, people were saying, well, what if, maybe this is a chance for them to switch everything to Marriott? And I'm like, well, Marriott probably will not give them a good impression, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
And I think it's been a good partnership for Hyatt and MGM. We don't know the back and forth between the companies, but it seems like it's been a very positive partnership with them going back, 6 years, I think. So it's been pretty good. Now, there was one other bit of Cosmo news this week, and that's that as Blackstone is leaving, or at least they're leaving the operations side, they're still going to own like 80% of the land, along with the Panda Express people.
Which is so weird.
But
With
they
Panda
left.
Express.
No, yeah, the trust of the people who
know.
own Panda Express as a partner owner, so
Vegas is so weird. I don't understand it.
It's strange, but they're giving every employee $5,000. Bill McBeath, the CEO in this party, they announced that. They said that these employees helped them, make this successful deal. Obviously, they made some money selling the operations for a decent profit, and it cost them about $27 million to share with over 5,000 employees, $5,000 each. So in an era where we sort of criticize corporate Vegas, I feel like they deserve some props for doing this.
Yeah, and I think this is something they said, a year or so ago, didn't they? Like, hey, stay with us, and if you keep the sale price up there, we'll make sure to take care of you. So I'm glad they did. That's pretty cool. And you said earlier that it'll open up that dealers can go to MGM and vice versa properties. So we've always talked about what dealers make, and everybody says Cosmo is the best for tips and stuff. So I do wonder if like the best dealers at other MGM properties are going to try to move into Cosmo now, since they can keep their years in service and everything like that. So will that make Cosmo like a dealer haven for players, and then kind of take the best from everywhere else? So that'll be interesting to see play out. But this is cool that they're all getting that money, and well deserved. And I'm glad they kept their word in that fact.
Yeah, Blackstone's head of strategic investments said our success was completely attributable to the people on the ground, the people cleaning the rooms, working the restaurants, working the front desk, dealing cards. I think this is just a very small way for us to show our appreciation. I also think it's cool that, every employee top to bottom, no matter what your position is getting this amount of money, not giving, the janitors one amount and the dealers another amount and everything else. That's really cool.
Yeah, for a lot of these people, $5,000 will probably be what they make in a couple months. So this is pretty massive. I mean, I should have signed up to work there on the weekends or something. So I'll take $5,000.
All right. So yeah, good news when it comes to that. We'll see how it goes with the Cosmo integration, but it will become an MGM property. I know there's a lot of people that are excited about that because it is, in my opinion, the second best hotel in Las Vegas behind Wynn Encore, but I could certainly make an argument that it's the best, just depending if you want more of that traditional luxury or more of that contemporary luxury. But they do a great job. The service is great, everything.
I was going to say, I think it's the best for nightlife. Like, if you want to go
Sure.
and every bar is busy and has a good crowd and atmosphere and stuff, it's expensive, but I think it's the best place to go hang out. Last trip, like we said in a previous episode, my friends went there and they just said, that's all you got to do is really go to Cosmo and you're going to have a good time, versus trying to go to the hottest club at this place or that place. You can just hop around there, bar hop there, and you're going to always have a good bar.
For sure. So let's hope it stays that way. All right, let's pivot to the Vegas Loop, your favorite thing to talk trash about.
Boy, oh boy.
And all right, so coming into the National Association of Broadcasters meeting last month, we expected the Resorts World station to open, and they basically have dug a tunnel from the convention center to Resorts World. It's a one-way tunnel, so they don't have a two-way tunnel at this point. But the thing that we learned this week is that
worthless.
maybe, because the thing that we learned this week is that they still haven't got approval to open it, so we don't know the opening date, although Resorts World has said it'll be coming soon. But this tunnel goes from Resorts World to a new station called the LVCC Riviera Station, which is, right where Riviera was on sort of the north side of that property. It doesn't connect to the existing stations right now, the other three stations that are part of the convention center loop. So if you went from Resorts World, you're going to end up on the north end of the property. If you need to get to like the main hall or the other areas of the convention center, you literally have to walk across the parking lot to the west station, and then you could connect into the thing. Now, eventually, they're going to put it all together, but that's where that is right now. So before we go into the other news with the Vegas Loop, what do you think about that?
Well, it's not open because what can you do with it if it's one way? What do they get back? Do they get out of the tunnel and drive the streets back to?
No, they put a light, and they let so many cars go one way, and then they clear the tunnel because it's not that long. I mean, you're basically
but it's like road construction. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's like those temporary lights that they put up. Yeah, when they're like doing construction on a 2-lane road. The other bit of news is they said that they expect some version of the Vegas Loop to be open by next year. And this is what they said. They said they're going to build separate phases that start and then they tie in together. So, for instance, the Allegiant Stadium to Tropicana area is going to be one phase. The Caesars Loop will be another phase, which is all the Caesars properties. And then the Resorts World Westgate Convention Center will be another one. And then they're going to, I guess, build the main tunnels to bridge them together. I don't know if that's a money issue, but you're going to end up with all these disconnected systems that'll eventually connect. Sort of strange. And then, of course, they're not supposedly going to be free. These are the convention center one's free right now, but the other ones will have a cost. I think the Resorts World one's going to have a cost too when it opens. So it's going to be messy for a while with Vegas Loop for sure. But Boring just got a bunch of funding. I think the company's worth about $6 billion now. So, there is money behind the company. So hopefully they will be able to make this all work in the end.
It's just going to end up being more tunnels for the homeless to sleep in.
Oh, I don't think so. I think you got all the players in Las Vegas behind this. And I mean, what they're promising is a system that'll go to every major area you want. It's going to take years to build that out. Obviously, they're trying to figure out the best way to do that. But I feel like the more of these stations they can get built, the more chance it has to succeed.
Did I see the numbers right? They're saying 2,200 people are supposed to be able to go on this one-way tunnel an hour. Like, how is
just
that?
In the Resorts World, the Resorts World to the convention center, because it's a very short tunnel, so it doesn't take that long to get from one side to the other. So I think a little over 2,000 an hour.
The real life number is going to be around 1,000, I bet, when they start doing it.
Yeah, I mean that would make more sense given that it's a one-way tunnel, but I mean I don't know. This is a bit of a surprise. I don't know why they didn't connect it, but they did say that the most difficult tunnel that they're going to do in the entire system will be the one that connects the Resorts World station to the main convention center line. So perhaps that's why they only built it to the north side. They said it's going to, because of the turn, it's going to have a sharp turn in it. It's going to take the boring machine, basically to its limits in order to make that turn and to dig that tunnel. So that's probably why they didn't do it this way. But yeah, challenges galore for this company, but you're kind of seeing them make it up as they go. It's kind of interesting. Las Vegas, a big test case, I guess.
Yeah, if it all works out, then I'm sure this will end up making it other places, other cities, stuff like that. So you just got to go with the lumps, I guess, because you're the first one. So see how it plays out, but I'm still skeptical. I mean, I'm sure it will be useful at some point, but I don't know how long in the future that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm optimistic, but certainly, there's definitely challenges, and it's not as clear cut as they want to make it seem. All right, so let's pivot, and this press release came out this last week from Choice Hotels, and I just stayed at a Choice Hotel in Copenhagen, the Clarion at the Copenhagen airport, and in the Scandinavian region, Choice Hotels have a lot of luxury hotels, a lot of high-end hotels, but in the United States, they're not really known for that, right? They're known for their very kind of lower-end properties, but they have what they call the Ascend Collection, which is their quote-unquote luxury high-end collection of hotels. And guess which Las Vegas hotel is joining? Yes. Wait, we're going to get into this press release because they said some amazing things in it. But which hotel is, you tell everybody which hotel is joining Choice's high-end Ascend collection.
I mean, the most luxurious kids hotel ever, Circus Circus.
Yep, exactly. And this is what they said, Mark. Circus Circus adds more than 3,700 rooms to Choice's upscale portfolio, allowing guests to stay in the epicenter of Las Vegas with fantastic accommodations and access to top-notch entertainment for the whole family. So, yeah, what part of that was true? They're not in the center. Best accommodations, upscale portfolio.
I mean,
They're stretching a little bit.
Can you think of a worse hotel on the Strip?
The Travelodge that's out in front of Circus Circus. I mean,
but I'm talking like a casino hotel. Like, can you think of a worse Strip casino hotel?
Yeah, not really. No. Not. I mean, yeah. Most of them have been renovated.
Harrah's is luxury compared to.
Harrah's has new rooms. Harrah's is fine. Yeah, Circus Circus hasn't gotten a lot of
is
investment.
like steps above. I guess Excalibur would be the next closest.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy that they're adding it to the Ascend collection. I could see them adding it just as a normal redemption option, but the fact that they're pushing this so high as an Ascend collection, it shows that Choice really wants to be a player in Las Vegas. I guess every other hotel might have been taken. I guess Phil Ruffin, the guy who owns Circus Circus. His TI property is a Radisson partner, but so I guess Radisson didn't want it. So Choice is the choice.
Yeah, I mean they just took over the old Greektown casino in Detroit, so that's now an Ascend option too. So that's a much nicer property than Circus Circus, but
except for the security guards. All right.
I do wonder how many points a night it's going to cost. Hopefully not too many, but I guess. I don't know. I don't know why anybody would want it. So, okay. Moving on.
All right. So, moving on. So, the city of Las Vegas is going to plant 60,000 trees over the next 30 years, which, it seems like one of those stories that's weird because why are they planning to plant trees over 30 years? But then when I started reading into it, it said that, since 1970, the average temperature in Las Vegas has gone up 6 degrees. And this is because of all the building, and concrete retains heat. And, you need to dissipate that in some way. Of course, there's a big challenge with all these trees because they have to find like water smart trees because, Lake Mead also dropped like 22 feet in the last year. And we're having this huge water shortage. So, yeah, Las Vegas, as it continues to grow urban sprawl.
Is now dune.
Yeah, I mean, 6 degrees is a lot of, I mean, that's huge. That's hot.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And concrete's like the worst thing for heat for sure. Like if you go to New York City in the summer, it's just unbearable because it's all concrete everywhere. Really, it does seem like a long time to plant these trees. That you'd think that they could bang it out a bit quicker than that, but maybe that's part of the plan because some are going to die and they can disperse it as the sprawl grows out. I don't know what the reasoning is, but when you hear 30 years, you're like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, it's just like one of those numbers they pull out of thin air. I will say we did have, like when I moved to Las Vegas in the 90s, we had huge flood problems. And, anytime it would like be a light rain, it would flood everywhere. And they had like a 40-year plan that they're still building out on for building all these flood detention basins. So I get the need to plan. But especially given that amount of change and the way Las Vegas is going to grow, we've talked about how they want to get to over 4 million people just in the next 10 or 15 years. We're passing about 3 million people in Las Vegas right now, or in the Las Vegas metropolitan area. So, yeah, I guess it's fine. Water shortage and all, it means they're going to be like desert sort of plants, but, shade is good. All of that stuff is good. But we're definitely struggling, I think, with the amount of growth that's happening. You're seeing it in all facets in Las Vegas, which is, it's tough to see.
Yeah, I just don't know how much do you think trees are going to help?
I don't know. I mean, is it like an episode?
We're talking like palm trees. Like they don't provide that much shade. I don't.
No, there's other trees, but is it like an episode of Parks and Rec? Where they all sat in the office and tried to come up with a plan. They're like, all right, 60,000 trees, 30 years. Let's release it, make everybody happy. I don't know.
Yeah, I almost feel like you'd be better putting up like those playground canopies everywhere or something. But trees are better for the environment and carbon monoxide, all that stuff. So it's added stuff, and then greenery. It looks prettier. So I can see why they're going that route. I just don't know how much of a dent it's going to put in it. It's just it's a tough problem. You're going to have more problems with the water shortage, heat, all that stuff as it grows. I don't know what Vegas is going to do, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 10, 20 years.
Yep, it's going to get hotter, that's for sure. And then the traffic's going to get worse. Yeah, a lot of stuff, but And I know all you guys are going to run into the comments and tell us how we don't have water. How are we doing it? Because people love to leave that comment saying, what are they doing? There's no water in Las Vegas. There's still water. The lake still is pretty deep. Bodies are surfacing, but no red flags yet. All right. No, I'm just kidding. It's just kidding. I'm starting to get worried myself. So
no, it is crazy to see like pictures from like 20 years ago where the water level was, and then now it's insane.
Yeah, and as I said, I just read today, Lake Mead down 22 feet in the last year. Lake Powell down 40 feet. So, yeah, this problem is accelerating. Even all the projections about like where the lake level would be are far. It's way off the board. It's dropping much quicker than they thought.
This is why more people should move out towards Lake Las Vegas.
Yeah, there you go.
Bring in the people.
Lake Las Vegas, though, is a man-made lake, so I don't know that it's helping
just
much.
Suck it out of Lake Mead and pump it in. There you go.
That's basically what they're doing. All right, so I am on a cruise ship right now, and I did a cruise, a 14-day transatlantic cruise on Carnival, and now I'm on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and so I thought I'd talk a little bit about the casinos on the ship, and then in some future episodes, maybe I'll talk more about their players' programs and what I'm learning about them, because these casino programs on ships, they don't tend to like publish as much information on what you need to earn cruises. Royal Caribbean does have different like status tiers, and they have like if you earn 2,500 points, you get a guaranteed free inside cabin. But neither program, Carnival or Royal Caribbean, publishes how much you earn. It's sort of like what MGM and Caesars did recently, where every game earns different amounts. You don't really know what you're earning. Surprisingly, Mark, everybody loves to pan Carnival and they love to talk Royal Caribbean, how great it is. But here I am on Voyager of the Seas. There is only a handful of machines that are not like circa 2007.
They don't have any of those like dome all lit up machines like they do in Vegas?
Well, you know what they actually have? So, all the electronic gaming stuff, Carnival didn't have any of that. And here on Royal Caribbean, they only have one game, and it's Sigbo, which is like that game from that Asian game. So where they have 3 sets of dice and you're betting on, what's going to show up on the face of the dice. I couldn't convince Jasmine to do it, so we'll see if I can get her to do that. But all the machines are like, from like the early 2000s. I remember gambling in the early 2000s, those early video slot machines. They have those everywhere, and they're all Aristocrat machines, which is just one manufacturer. So it's sort of very limited. They have the normal table games. I walked around yesterday. Blackjack had like $25 minimum, but the casino is pretty dead on the ship here. I don't know if it's because we're in Europe. And it's sort of a mixture of, there are some Americans, there's a lot of Spanish here, so I don't know if there was like a Spanish holiday that coincided with it. There are some Scandinavians on the ship, but the casino for the most part was largely dead. But Carnival, on the other hand, the casino probably isn't as nice, like decor-wise, the ceilings are a little bit lower, but they have every new machine you can imagine. Like they had just redone the entire casino or something. I mean, even machines I had never seen before, they're so new, they have them there. And like I think I mentioned before, they had this transatlantic cruise, they invited all of their whales on the ship. So no matter what time you walked through that casino, it was just absolutely packed. You couldn't find a machine. The table games were absolutely full. And now I wanted to ask you this, and I forgot to mention this like a week or two ago. After the first night on the cruise that we were out at sea, I was in an elevator with 2 guys, and they were talking about the night before on the craps table. They had a streak of 72 in a row where they didn't lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened. People have rolled for 45 minutes or an hour when I've been at the table before. So it's happened. It doesn't happen often. And the fun thing is when you're playing like the where you bet, and sometimes they'll have the bonus game where if you hit all the points, you get like 1,000 to 1 on your bet and stuff. And I've seen that hit a couple times. I've seen 5 out of 6 and 6 out of 6 a couple times each. So yeah, we've gotten there. It's very rare, but that's pretty crazy, especially when you have whales. They probably got murdered at that table. Like the house lost a ton of money if they're rolling that. And it's all big time players. Like I couldn't even imagine. But that's a good way to kick off your cruise for sure. Usually first night is terrible. So the fact that they had a fat bankroll after the first night is good. Hopefully they stayed away after that.
Yeah, there was 13 more nights after that, so I doubt they did. But so the kind of experiment we're doing is Jasmine's trying to earn the minimum amount of points that you need to get free drinks on board, and we're seeing if that'll trigger free cruise offers. So on Carnival, that's 1,500 points on a 7-night or longer cruise. Although our cruise was 14 nights, so if Carnival's doing it per day, maybe they're going to change their calculations there. She did get a few offers getting off the ship, but not for a free cruise yet. So I'll let people know on that. On Royal Caribbean, anecdotally, 800 points will get you a free cruise, although you need more for free drinks. So I think we're going to kind of go in the 800. But she gambled in the casino last night. Now, this is a 7-day cruise. We have an overnight in Stockholm, so we can't gamble then. So there's a lot more limited time in the casino. And like I said, the machines are kind of old and boring. So that might be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see how it goes. We are also on the MGM rewards sort of offer. So we got $250 onboard credit, 125 each as MGM Gold members. So we're going to talk to the casino host, but hopefully we can get her some offers and I can get some people data points on this stuff since there's not a ton of information out there. So stay tuned for that. But throughout all of this, I've put up some video so you can see the difference between the Carnival Pride and the Royal Caribbean Voyager of the Seas. I'll even throw in some video from Odyssey of the Seas earlier in the year, which is a brand new casino for Royal Caribbean. So, cruise ship casinos, some ships have large ones, some ships have smaller ones. Typically, you're going to have your range of table games, but the vibe is never the same for me as a land-based casino. I don't know. But I don't know. Everybody out there, let us know, do you love going to cruise ship casinos, or does it just not really fill that hole for you? And Mark, you're going to find out in February, right?
Yeah, I've never been on a cruise, so I'm curious to see what it feels like, and I assume it's much lower ceilings than like a land casino, which high ceilings are important to me. I feel cramped if they're lower ceilings in a casino, which just makes it like you don't want to hang out there very long because you just feel like enclosed a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. And yeah, I'm curious to see how the whole vibe is and everything. Is it as much of a party atmosphere, or is it just people can't sleep, so they're just burning time, type of thing? So is it midnight Vegas or is it 6 a.m. Vegas?
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's a little bit of a different story. The funny thing is, on the older cruise ships, these new machines have gotten so big and tall that, like on the Carnival Pride, like I said, they had all brand new machines, but they would go all the way up to the ceiling, as high as they could. That's how high the ceiling was. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different vibe. They're trying to put as much into a small area as possible. But even on Odyssey of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's newest ship, at the time when we went there in February, they had low ceilings and not the biggest amount of space. So we'll be talking more about that though as time goes on.
When you're actually playing, like at the table or at the machine, you don't get free drinks. You have to earn points to get the free drinks.
Yeah, so if you're there on like a casino offer, for instance, when we did the Carnival offer, the fun match, we have a whole video on the channel if you want to see that. That comes with free drinks, so that was the offer we were sailing on. On Royal Caribbean, you need to earn a certain amount of points in order to get free drinks. So yeah, just not going to get free drinks on the cruise ship unless you're there with a specific offer, or you meet the minimum amount of points that they require on that sailing in order to get it. I have a feeling that you should get the drink package on board and just enjoy yourself. Then you get your drinks, and then you don't have to worry about it. So we'll keep everybody updated. I have more cruises this year. I'm trying to demystify these cruise rewards programs, trying to help people maybe maximize where they can figure out how to get some comps, how to juice them up. But I did a whole episode on the MTM podcast on cruising as well, and we have an article I just put up on the website on milestomemories.com with how I booked my 7 cruises this year, saving tons of money. So check that out too if you're more into cruises. And I think that's going to do it for this week. Let us know what you think about any of these topics. And Cosmo, are you really sad to see Blackstone out of Cosmo, MGM taking over, 30,000 trees? Let us know. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up button, tell a friend, and most importantly, thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.
More tunnels to nowhere.
Bye.
Bye.